Hello, it's Annaliese here, and I've got some more ANTM content for you. Now, recently, Miss Alisha White broke her silence and did an Instagram live chat with Oliver Twixt. Yes, we got to hear all the information directly from the horse's mouth. You know I had to involve myself and do a reaction video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please do subscribe and make sure you say hey in the comments below. Okay, so I'm not wasting any time with this one. There was a lot in this 2.5 hour chat. I actually had to do some magic, edit it down. I wanted to share with you the highlights, the oh wow moments, and the that makes a lot of sense statements. Of course, I'm going to encourage you to watch Oliver's video for the full length action. But if you're here for the highlights and my reaction, then you are definitely in the right place. Now, you know how I said I like to involve myself? Let's do this.
Girl, you know you're like a trending topic when it comes to America's Next Top Model Cycle 18. You know this, right?
But nobody
She is indeed. She is.
People ask other people about me. I don't understand that one. I don't get that.
It's because you were
Well,
silent.
I'm not that type of bitch. I goes to the source.
Of course. That's what you should do.
Yes.
How does it feel to know that like how important you are to that piece of top model history?
To be honest with you,
You're important, babe.
Like, I never wanted to be famous. Like, I'm just a girl from South London that wanted to get out of the hood, wanted to do modeling. I've wanted to be a model since the age of 6. Like, it never crossed my mind about being famous. And I want everybody to know that I don't care about that stuff.
Fair point, Alisha.
Like, I really don't care for all of that. I just wanted to model. So, to know that I'm like, because I remember like after leaving the show, I had so many interviews with like press people. And one of the titles or one of the journalists said to me, but how did it feel to say no to Tyra? And I was thinking, like, she's a human being. Like, what do you mean?
She's just a human.
Do you know what it felt like to say no to her? I didn't feel comfortable being there. Like, my mental health was deteriorating, like, day by day, week by week. This is something that I believe they were actively watching on cameras as well, which wasn't nice. You know, it's not a nice thing to see someone come in so confident and then leave so, like, in despair. It's just not a good thing.
Broken,
and I felt like
yeah.
I had to do what I had to do for me at the end of the day.
Without giving away too much, because we're still at the top of the interview,
Sure.
your mental decline, do you attribute that to things that were going on with you as a person, or was it things that were going on the show, or was it a combination of both?
I bet it was both. It's got to be both, right?
For anyone that doesn't know, I was actually on Britain's Next Top Model first, and I had very, very, very difficult time with them after the show. I'm sure some of you guys know already, and I hope some of the girls have said, but when you leave these shows, you're in a contract with them for quite a while. So you're not able to do much. And I'm a very active person.
Yeah, Alisha did Britain's Next Top Model 6, which had just finished filming earlier that year. ANTM was September of that year. I want to say like we flew out mid-September 2011, and Alisha came second on Britain's Next Top Model. So she didn't really have time to kind of stop the whirlwind from being on a reality show. I did Britain's Next Top Model 5, which meant that I had at least a whole year and a half, if not slightly longer, to kind of ground myself after the whole experience. Not to mention that I didn't go as far as Alisha. I only came 7th, I want to say. Yeah, and I think the longer you're in the show is the more trauma you face.
So being on hold was quite a tough thing for me to do. Not only that, honestly, when I got told to come to America's Next Top Model, I probably should have said no because I hadn't fully healed from my experience from Britain's Next Top Model.
But you can't say no.
You know, after some careful consideration and my own like thought process, I thought, you know, this is the franchise of the brand. This is the maker of the brand. So if I'm gonna go and do it, I'm gonna be in great hands because it started there. Do you know what I mean?
You would think so, right?
That's
you
why
think so.
I went. So to answer your question, I would say it was a mixture of both. But yeah, both franchises didn't really help.
But you had to do it though, right?
Came from Britain's Next Top Model. What happened after that? That kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. Now we know Britain's Next Top Model, the final judging and selection process and all those types of things. And, you know, fans have their opinions about how your track record was greater and should have solidified you as the winner, which didn't happen.
She came second.
Was that what caused your experiences after the show to be bad, or was there other things going on?
It's that time
Yeah.
between leaving
But there
Britain's
was
Next Top
nothing
Model and
after,
starting
like,
America's.
I actually actively went to them to seek help because I was deteriorating. Like, imagine, right?
She went to them
I
for
turned
help.
18 years old in that contest. I didn't see my mom, nothing. Like, we don't have anything. So I turned 18 years old in that contest, or 19 years old. I can't remember which one, but 18 or 19.
She was a baby, basically. She was a baby.
And you're a child when you're 18. I don't care who's 18 on here that thinks they're a big person. Like,
No, you're a
when
child.
you're 18 years old, you're a kid. You don't know
When you're
shit.
25 years
You don't know nothing.
Don't know anything.
So, with that being said,
I can't believe
after
she
the
went to
show,
them
I
for
kind of,
help.
like, reached out to the production team. I was like, listen, I don't know what direction to turn in because I'm not sure how this game works. Like, I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to be anyone's, like, girlfriend or anything. I'm not trying to do that. I just want to model. That's it. And I remember I went to the office and, like, I sat there, I was crying, and I knew I should have brought my mom, but I went alone. And they basically told me, like, if you tell anyone what you've told us, like how you're deteriorating, all of this stuff, like, no one's gonna believe you. So
Why would they say that?
get on with it, basically. Just get on with it. The host at the time called me and told me I was ungrateful because I was coming to them and asking for help.
Do you know who that was?
So as an
Elle
18-year-old,
McPherson.
imagine that. Like, someone you look up to, and then them telling you that no one's going to believe you if you go to the press and you're truly ungrateful, and like,
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
Wow. There was a lot there, and we are just getting started. I feel like my eyes are being opened to Alicia's situation. Like, I'm just realizing and thinking about things that I never really thought about before. But she was only 18, 19 years old. And the process of doing 2 reality shows, let alone back to back, let alone at her age, super stressful. See, I was 22, I want to say, when I did Britain's Next Top Model. And I think at that age, those few years make such a difference. I was already at uni, I'd studied abroad in Miami. I'd already had those life experiences that meant I'd been away from my friends and family. I can't believe that the Britain's Next Top Model production team ignored her calls for help like that. Yeah, it's shocking to me because they were always quite supportive to me. They kept in contact. I even voiced some of the later seasons of Britain's Next Top Model. It is important to note, though, that between Britain's Next Top Model 5 and 6, there was like a whole overhaul. So they had a whole new panel. So it was Elle McPherson who was the host. So that's who told Alisha that she was being ungrateful. They also had Grace Woodward, Charlie Speed, and Julian McDonald.
it was a lot. There was other things that happened as well, but it was a lot. It was a lot for me.
And so
I feel for you, honey.
you said that you deciding to do America's Next Top Model rooted mainly in you wanting to be a part of the mother of the franchise. But what were some other things that made
even
you rationalize doing it?
Because when I was 12 years old, I wrote in my diary, one day I'm going to meet Tyra. And I was going to make that happen for that 12-year-old kid that wrote that.
And she was someone that, like, you looked up to and everything.
Absolutely. I watched America's Next Top Model from the first time it started.
Yeah.
And I said,
we all did.
My mom, I'm going on that show. And everyone, I'm sure everyone thought, like, how? Like, girl, you live in the UK. This show is in the US. Like, but I told
manifestation.
I'm a believer, and I told everybody, like, I manifested all of these things into my life. Like, I strongly believe that. I prayed on it from young. You know what I mean? So I wanted to go on it because I wanted to do that for that 12-year-old person.
Oh, that was so cute. I totally and utterly can relate to that. As I said, I had to cut some stuff out. So Alisha went on to talk about the casting process at the hotel, the whole isolation thing. Alisha remembered that our rooms were opposite each other. I totally forgot that. She revealed that she went to hospital during that time. I don't know if I ever knew that. And she also talked about the differences between America's Next Top Model and Britain's Next Top Model. I did a whole video on that, so I will pop the link above. Alisha remembers so much more than me. She actually remembers meeting Tyra for the first time and that she got a dry high. She also made a very interesting point. She thought that Tyra took a disliking to her because she's from South London, where Naomi Campbell's from. Damn.
In the comments, guys, I'm seeing you guys say Annaliese is here. Is Annaliese here watching?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Is
She's
here?
In the flesh.
Is Annaliese
I am
here?
Indeed. Annaliese
I know
is here,
there's a delay, so I'm just going to keep asking until someone comments.
Keep asking it, because I be here, boo.
Annaliese was one of my favorite personalities on that show.
She has an amazing personality, and Annaliese does what she does best. If Annaliese did not win that challenge,
the focus group,
I would have been like, what are they doing right now?
Same here.
And so you guys hear me say all the time, top model, influenced me a lot. I will say when it comes to opportunities I've had in the past in talking, and even, just me doing these types of things and how I try to use my personality to attack, these types of
personality is everything.
I go back to how I saw Annaliese do on Top Model.
She
just was so good.
Yeah, so good. She can just talk. Like it doesn't fit, and it always makes sense.
It makes sense.
Like
sometimes,
even if you can't keep up, you have to sit down somewhere for a little bit and analyze what she said and be like, actually, it makes sense, but I didn't get it at the time, but now I understand.
And it's like, even if it didn't make sense, the way she presented it and she's smiling and whatever it is, I'm going to believe it.
It's like, you sound good. Just stop. Like, I don't have time.
What can I say?
You sound good, so it must be right.
Do you guys keep in contact or
We're not. I wouldn't say we have a friendship or a relationship, and it's only because, and if she's watching, not to put her on here,
I'm watching.
But there was a comment that she made to me, and it's kind of never left me, kind of
what
thing.
What is she saying?
I know. What did I say?
She could DM me. We could talk about it. I'm not here to make her feel bad or anything like that. There was just a comment that was made, not on camera, and I felt a bit like, oh, okay.
You felt like what?
Oh.
Okay.
I slid right into those DMs to apologize for whatever it was I said. I mean, I've got to admit, I did sense that Alisha may have felt some type of way about me. I reached out to her over the years and I didn't get a response, even recently when I started doing these recaps. But I kind of understand why she did that now. I basically asked her what it was that I said, what offended her so much. And apparently I made a joke about her being from South London and that's where people get shot. I think I was just joking, and I think I was just leaning into the fact that she was saying that she was from the hood, from the ghetto. But you know what? I can completely understand how that wouldn't make her feel great. Maybe I was looking down on her in some way. But honestly, I didn't mean any malice by it. I was just chatting rubbish. I mean, in London, you're more likely to get stabbed than you are likely to get shot. As a sidebar to that, I live in Hackney, which is hardly a peaceful suburb. But anyways, it's all squashed. I apologized. She accepted it. We good.
In hindsight, how does she feel about that situation with waking Simone up? Did she think she went too far? Any other stories to tell regarding that night and or Simone? Simone!
Simone as well.
Oh, nice. Well, good. That's good to know.
Simone as well. And
I've got to hit her up.
I'm 19. I'm bored.
She's bored. 19.
That's all. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't my idea. It was Sophie's idea.
It was always Sophie's idea, FYI.
I'm feeling
always
frisky. Mm-hmm. I want to do something. And I said, what's the idea? And she said, let's sit on the floor and scrunch up these balls. And I remember
mischievous.
Annaliese can quote me on this. I remember Annaliese looking at us like, don't do it. Don't.
That's what I said.
Do that.
Don't do it.
No, we're bored. But it was Sophie's idea originally. We were bored. We went in there. We threw some paper. Probably shouldn't have done it. But you're 19. You're young. You're silly. Very,
just
very
doing
good.
stuff. And you
Doing
know,
yourself.
in hindsight, and even now, when you're watching TV, I don't think people realize the
How
age
old
of
the girls
people
are.
when they're on their shows. And it's like, bitch, when you were that age, what were you doing?
Exactly. And not only that, like, no TV, no phone, no magazine, no book, no nothing.
And Annaliese said
We
she went and
bored.
drank her wine.
She
said,
did. That's you
Yes,
guys.
ma'am.
Like,
Nothing's changed.
Annaliese, okay, real side note. So Annaliese, you know, everyone that's watching, Annaliese does her own top model content on her YouTube channel. So make sure
I do
you
indeed.
guys go check it out. And I was like, should I ask Annaliese, does she want to talk? Because I didn't
Yes,
want
you
to
should.
infringe on what she does. But you know, she already does top model content. But Annaliese, girl,
yeah. Oh,
she already does top
You're
model
not
content.
infringing.
You know, I didn't want to mix the two,
Yeah.
whatever. But I just think
We need to
Annaliese,
make
I
this
just think
happen.
She's just so funny and just so.
No, she's funny. She's like, her personality is always on 100, even on a bad day. Like, she'll make you feel good. Like, she radiates like a light of like, it might be a shit day, but we're gonna make it happen. Like,
we're gonna make it happen.
This is what I'm saying.
It helps. You need someone like that.
Oh, that's so nice.
You need it.
Yeah.
She's sensible as well. I wasn't very sensible. I'm still not. So I don't follow rules, like guidelines, nothing. Like, I'm an outlaw to the T. So it's nice to have someone like Annaliese there just to be like, rein it in.
Big up yourself, Annaliese.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop. Oh, that was so nice to hear. All the lovely stuff. But we're going to go from the niceties to one of the most outrageous things that happened on ANTM British Invasion. That damn focus group, yeah. So Alisha got one of the worst comments I think that's ever to air on ANTM in general, I would say. Not even just the season. But somebody from the focus group said that they didn't like Alisha's African accent. So many points wrong with that. I'm not even going to go into it. And they said that she looked like she should be selling chicken. Like, what? Like, obviously, Alisha and Oliver went totally into this subject. In Mr. J's chat, he actually confirmed, the one that he had with Sophie Sumner, that they were not actors in the focus group, which to me makes the whole thing even more crazy.
I don't know why they let that air on TV, because even if that, let's just say that wasn't like contrived or actors weren't hired to say that, that's not cute. Like,
it doesn't make them look good at all.
Girls, like, all the girls were like mortified when they heard
mortified.
Like, they were like, everyone. Doesn't matter what color they were all mortified. Like,
I would have been
horrific.
Because that, first of all, that's so uncomfortable to hear in a public space, on a public setting. And then you add the fact that there's cameras. Like, how do you say this in front of this woman, in front of all of us,
Crazy.
in front of everyone in the
Crazy.
world?
And you air that stuff.
And then you air it, meaning that the people in charge of the show are complicit in our, I don't know if it's tone deaf, I don't know what it is, but you let this go out in the airways up and let this be said about this.
I'm just gonna shake my head.
Disrespectful on
yes,
put some respect on my name, because at the end of the day, just because you guys are in control of something, there has to be like a little bit of element of respect.
That comment was so disrespectful to Alisha, to us young girls there, to America, to everybody watching this TV show who kind of aspires to be like the girls on it. I think the fact that they actually aired the comment makes it seem like they think that it's okay to say something like that. And for me, that is something that I just can't get past. But next, Alisha talks about something that production hated.
I think one thing that production hated the most was that we all liked each other.
So true.
No matter how much you saw
it didn't work for their drama.
Argue and hear. That's all it was. And then it was done.
Done.
We'll be dancing with each other. We'll be chilling with each other. We'll be having deep conversations with each other.
Dance classes,
we'll be
you
like,
know.
We'll be so cool with each other. So like, I think production hated that. And the things that you guys saw were like small, like minuscule things that we really didn't care about when the cameras were not there.
Yeah, it didn't work for their TV show at all.
Ask me if like me and Ebony are close and
Mm-hmm.
like even
Annaliese.
Like we were so. She's saying that we were so close. Like we were. We're not close anymore. We don't talk. I think the last time I spoke to Ebony, she told me that she was coming to the UK, and I offered my house to her. I said, when you come, you stay with me. Like I got you. Don't worry about food. Don't worry about nothing. Like I got you.
That's how Alisha is.
She came and she didn't contact me. I actually flew to New York, to like try and embark on my dream. And I called Ebony and I was like, yeah, I'm in New York. Like, do you want to hang out? And she just like aired me. So I'm not gonna lie. I do feel a little bit like I do feel some type of way.
I would too. Like, seriously and honestly, well done, Ebony, for reaching your goals. You are freaking smashing it. But I just don't think that that's an excuse to leave your people behind. Her and Alisha were close, but you know what? Her and Candice were super close because they both lived in New York. So they used to hang out all the time, met each other's parents and slept at each other's houses. Yeah, when I used to go to New York, I used to see both of them. And then all of a sudden, Candice told me that Ebony just ghosted her. Like, me personally, that's not how I'd handle things. Anyway, the conversation goes back to Tyra, Miss Thing, and quite an interesting point.
Everyone has a role on the show. When this lady used to enter rooms, we would have to turn the other way. We wasn't allowed to look at her.
That's me going back into my memory.
Turn the other way?
Annaliese, am I lying? If Annaliese is still in the chat, and
I don't know if you're lying. What? Huh?
What you mean turn the other way?
And we were not filming. We would have to turn the opposite way.
I don't know if I can remember this.
Why?
Now, I am not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying that I don't remember it. Maybe I blocked it out or something. I don't know. I feel like I don't remember seeing Tyra that often on the show. I feel like I have definitely got to ask somebody. But as a side note, Alisha said that part of her therapy was to not say Tyra Banks' name.
On my departure, which I'm sure you're going to ask me about, I sat on the stage just crying. One producer came to see if I was okay.
One producer?
One. I thought Miss Thing was going to come and say something to me, and she walked behind me and past me, and I just never forget it. Like, you know, shit, like, so
I thought Tyra would have said
like,
something to her.
That child in me, like, still probably is a little bit triggered by it. Luckily, I'm getting the therapy that I need and stuff like that. But that was hard. That was hard.
I could only imagine.
Are you still getting therapy about that?
Yeah. To this day. To this day, I don't really like talking about like America's Next Top Model, and I really want to apologize to some of the girls as well, because like Annaliese and maybe a few others that have reached out to me, and maybe I've been a little bit distant, because anyone part of that process for me is quite triggering. My mum did not recognize me.
Oh, crazy.
My mum sent me out of that house one person, and I returned back a different person. I wasn't speaking to anyone. I wasn't socializing. My real friends that I had, I lost some of my real friends because I just was like, I didn't trust anyone. And just a simple, "Are you okay, Alisha?" would have been enough for me. I didn't even get that. And I still haven't got that.
Do you need it?
Do you want it?
No. But I'm so traumatized by this whole experience that it stopped me from even going into different opportunities, because it's something that I need to heal completely before I go there, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
I don't need a sorry. I don't need a... Do you know what I do need?
What's that, boo?
I need a check for my pain and suffering.
I mean, I'm laughing, but I did not know that her trauma was that deep. I mean, she is still in therapy a whole 10 years later, nearly 10 years later. And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with therapy. I think it's a great thing. I have never done it, but I'm all for the idea of paying somebody to hear me talk about me.
I want to ask, what was happening during your time in Top Model leading up to your departure that caused you to go through that decline? What brought you to that place?
That is such a good question, and thank you so much for asking, because a lot of people don't know. So,
it's true. It's a good question.
For my makeover, I had a shaved side and a weave on the other side. Mm-hmm. Before they did my hair, they actually tried to bleach my hair blonde. Then they
I don't remember this.
They didn't want to do that anymore. Then they bleached.
I think I was self-obsessed, to be fair.
Then you go and
thinking about my weave.
Bleached hair.
Yes.
Bleached hair. And then
cane rowing, bleached hair, then sewing.
Right? So my hair was falling out at the back. My hair was falling out, and I kept asking them, like, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. My hair's falling out. Like, I don't feel comfortable. Like, can someone do something?
They keep doing these girls this way with the makeovers, right?
Hong Kong for about maybe like 3 or 2 weeks. I had never called my mum once.
No phone calls.
My mum is a very triggering point for me. I need to speak to my mum. Like, I call my mum every single day. They wouldn't let me make a phone call.
Nope.
Like, I just didn't understand it. And I just felt like every week you're picking shit pictures of me.
True.
You're telling me that I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. You're critiquing me on shoes that didn't fit my feet and then asking me why my feet are hanging out at the front. And I'm a size 7 and you're giving me a size 5.
It's true.
Why are you not keeping me here to pick away at me?
Oh.
Why? I don't know if the other girls felt it, but I felt like that elimination was so eerie.
Oh, it was the worst.
They knew that I was like sort of deteriorating upstairs. So when I came downstairs, I felt like the whole production team was like just staring at me. Like, I wonder if she's really serious about leaving. I was very, very serious.
She was dead serious. In her chat with Oliver, she actually cleared up how it went down. So before elimination, she spoke to production and said, listen, I'm not mentally well. I want to go home. She said, just let me disappear. You know, like the fade out credits, just let me disappear. They said, no, you have to go to elimination. She was like, okay then, just eliminate me. Let me be in the bottom 2, then eliminate me, all good. She actually thought that this was the plan. So we go downstairs, we do all of that, and then they saved her. Like, this is a young girl who's just told you that she's not mentally stable. And then you put cameras in her face and put her through all of that. Like, that is crazy. Madness. Very irresponsible. Alisha said that her therapist watched back the show, watched it with her, and said that her behaviour was that of a depressed person. But still, production did that to her. How could they do that with a clear conscience and then just send her off to a hotel where only one person caught up with her?
But then after, I received a call from Miss J. And
yes!
He was fuming. He was so
Miss J called you?
Yes, he called. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only one that called.
He called you like while you saw her, or is this after?
In the hotel, yeah. So after, yeah, he called.
What did he say?
He said, why didn't no one tell me that you felt this way? Why didn't no one call me? How do you feel? Are you okay? Do you feel stable? Like, do you need assistance? Do you need help?
Proper questions.
Can we call anyone? What's been going on?
Like a human being.
What the hell has happened?
Oh my goodness.
He's the only, and you know what? Like, Miss J, like, I love and respect that man. Nobody can chat shit about Miss J to me. No one.
No one's got nothing bad to say about Miss J.
He's human. He said some other things too.
Oh. What did he say?
About someone.
Girl, what
about Tyra.
He wasn't impressed.
I bet he wasn't. And I bet it was Tyra's behaviour that he was least impressed with. I mean, we all now know that at this time, there was a lot of tension within production and like the relationships between the judges totally off. I actually think that Tyra knew that Alisha wanted to leave and she saved her on purpose for the sake of good TV. And I think she knew that she was gonna send Ebony home with her. Yeah. I mean, there was no off-screen conversation, no hesitation when Alisha asked her if Ebony could stay as well. She basically said no straight away without thinking. Now, as I said before, I had to cut a lot out of this ANTM tell-all. You should definitely watch Oliver's for the full-length version. But Alisha went on to speak about her Dorchester prize, where she won 2 nights to stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Now, she actually thought that it was 3 nights, but I actually checked the recap that I did on this episode, and it was definitely 2 nights, but I don't know how this wasn't confirmed before she flew out there anyways. And it was on this trip to LA that Alisha and her mum bumped into somebody from production at a mall, and that's where they told her that she was being set up to win. There was so much information in that. I need to rest, digest, recuperate. But thank you so much for watching this reaction video to Oliver Twixt ANTM Tell-All with Alisha White. Please do let me know if you liked this video by giving it a thumbs up and sharing your thoughts down below. There were lots of things in this chat that Alisha said that made me really, really happy to hear, but this one was one of my favourites.
Oh my days, like, yes.
Oh my days is actually part of the title of my new podcast, yes. Launching early 2021. Oh my days, what are you wearing? That is the first time that I've teased it, and it definitely makes it really real. I would love to hear your comments on my cover, so please do let me know down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.